and welcome to our card making demonstration. When I think of a card, let's look at this card here. This is the card we'll be making this evening. This is a thank you card, and to me there's four parts of a card when you're making a card. First, there is the card itself, you know, what opens up the card itself. There's the plate of the card, which is the background paper. Then we have what will be our accent papers, and then we have what it will be our accent. So those are the four parts of a card. So to make a card, what I traditionally do is I usually just buy a ream of cardstock to use for my card base. This one happens to be Georgia Pacific premium cardstock paper. It's 110 pound weight, a 92 degree brightness, and it says on the back, perfect for scrapbooking. So that's what we're doing today with it. So there's several ways you can cut a card. You can cut a card lengthways this way to provide a long fold on the left hand side, or an up and down fold, or you can cut it this way. And now this is the way we're cutting our cards today, and you can either operate it like this or like this. So depending on how you do your card. So we're just going to get our paper trimmer. Now this is traditionally, cardstock comes, and these packs come in 8.5 by 11. So it's 11, that means half is 5.5. So we're going to bring our 5.5 over there. Now what's nice about this is one piece of cardstock makes two cards. So we can set this one aside for later for another card project. And then simply what I do is I simply fold over this card in half, push it down as hard as I can, then I usually take some kind of tool like a pen or something like this. I'm going to use a pen, and I just kind of roll it over the crease. That creates a, you can also use a bone folder or anything like that, and that gives you a nice hard crease. Now good paper will crease really nicely and not break up on you. This is a premium cardstock, so it's going to hold up on the folding and unfolding. It won't cut in half like some scrapbook paper would if you embossed it too heavily or you folded it like that. So that's our base of our card. Now our second thing is our background paper. Now this is actually the same size as this paper. We could just simply do it that way. But as you see here, I've had about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around the card. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting this down just a little more. This is one of those pieces I got by taking a 12 by 12 piece and cutting it into 6 pieces like I showed you in scrapbooking. So we're just going to take this, we're going to measure this, make sure we have the right dimensions on this. This is 4 1/4, so we're just going to come in to 4. We're going to cut off that 1/4 of an inch on that side. This is, let's look at it should be 5.5, good. So we're going to go 5 1/4. We're going to cut this a little bit off. There we go. And there we got our size for our background paper. And if you see, once we lay this on, we'll have that little white border around our card. So now to build our paper. Now from our Girl Power layout, we had these 3 prints, and what I've done is I've created them the same size. So that's 4 inches there, 4 inches. And what I did is I took the 12-inch paper and I ran just this is a 2-inch strip down the whole slice. But what that does, it gives me 3 sections of this size paper at 2 inches by 4 inches. And what that does is that gives me enough paper to do 3 different cards of the same style. So this one I cut at 2 inches. This strip I did the same thing. I cut it at 1.5 inches. And this accent piece I cut at 1 inch. So we're simply going to take our tape runner here. We're going to build our card on our background paper, and then we'll adhere it all onto the card. So we're just going to keep, now I could have taken the template and made curves and stuff, but I like the straight edge on this, so that's why I just kept it straight. You could also do this design with other colors of paper too, that you have scraps you have laying around. So there we got that. That's our background. and our accent strips. Now, I've already cut our little flower out of white cardstock, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be distressing that with the Distress ink, the Vintage Photo. That's the same kind we use in our layout that we use this flower on. We're just going to be lightly distressing this around the edges. So this will make the flower pop and just give it a little dimension. And we're going to be doing a special treatment on it. There we go, almost done. Around this edge. And around that edge. There we go. And we got that Distress ink on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is a Creative Memories round tip pen from several years ago. I think it's a retired pen now. I'm going to put a dot at each crevice of the flower, and then I'm just going to dot around the flower. Just put little dots. This is going to give some extra oomph to the flower. Makes it stand out a little more. There we go, our last petal. Just go around. It's simple to do and it makes it look fantastic. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a punch I have. This one's by Creative Memories, and we're going to make this little hole punch. Take this extra piece of cardstock we had of the pink. We'll punch it out. There we go. And there we have our center. Now what I'm going to do with the center is I'm just going to create a swirl with this pink. It won't show up very much, but it'll show up a little bit. So you might not be able to see it on camera, but that is a little pink on that, just a swirl I did. So we're going to take this then, and we're going to glue the back of that little dot, put it in the center of our flower. Remember I said in my last video that I like, because these flowers can get caught on things and you can rip them up, I like to tape each petal of the flower. And there we go. Now, on to our mounting it on our card. Now, on this one, this particular one, I had a thank you stamp, and I just stamped it in black ink and stamped it on there. This one I don't know quite what sentiment I want on it yet, so I'll get to do that later. But that's how you can replicate that. You could put thank you on here. You could put, you know, make it an I love you card, or something like that. And then simply what we do is we take our back and get a good adhesion on here, and we're going to center it on this card. And there you go. You got a nice card to send out in the mail. Now this will fall. This size of card will fit right into an invitation style envelope, and then you can mail them, and it's regular postage. So I hope you get to scrapbooking your scraps and making them into beautiful cards. We'll see you next time on The Nifty Scrapbooker.